give you the heads up. All right, gents, let's get it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. It is Two Fans with a Mic. I'm Draze. This is my man Green. We are live talking to you. It is the only show that started as a text thread, to my knowledge. It was a text thread so good that at some point we was like, yo, we got to get on camera. We got to
give it to the people.
We got to share our thoughts. And so today we have a dope show lined up for you. Of course, we are going to be talking a whole lot of football. We got to talk about Joe Burrow and Chase. Are the Cincinnati Bengals out of it? We got to talk about your man Harbaugh down there with the Chargers. Really blowing things up. Bo Nix, the young phenom who is taking over. A call you made, not me.
Yeah.
You're more Bo than I am, right? And of course we'll come back with some Seahawks, man. Do not worry. There will be Hawk talk.
Yes.
We got to do that. But first and foremost, man, how you doing, boss?
Man, I'm good, man. Can't complain too much. It was a great weekend of sports, minus the Mike Tyson debacle, man. How did you feel about that, Brody?
I put this out there, right? I know that they say that 30 is the new 20. But 58 is 58, okay? And prior to the fight, I said that, and no one wanted to hear me.
Right.
20 years ago, Mike Tyson lost to a bum.
Yeah.
A complete bum. I mean, a bum.
Right.
And then we just saw him about 4 or 5 years ago with an old Roy Jones Jr., and he couldn't sleep him.
Right.
And this is 5 years later. And I'm like, guys, you just don't get better. And then people are showing all these videos, and I'm like, people, these videos don't. He didn't look good in the videos to me. They were woo. And I was just like, you think me seeing a flurry of 3-4 punches is supposed to mean something? I saw him boxing against his sparring partner, and it just, and the guy was just trying to be nice. He was like, I mean, he's still got the power. We're like, we know he's got the power. Can he close the gap with his legs? No. Anyways, how did you feel, boss?
I mean, I felt the same. I was like, 58 is 58, man. And one thing that I learned is that we love our heroes, man. Yeah. We love our heroes. It's like, oh, such and such is coming out with a new album. Yeah, like such and such got, you know what I'm saying? Like there's certain people, like Denzel is timeless. Denzel's coming out with a new movie. He could do it until some forms of entertainment have a time limit, right? And when it expires, we have to accept it.
Yeah.
And Mike Tyson, when he walked out, I was like, oh no! I saw the knee brace. I don't think I've ever seen a boxer with a knee brace on. That's not good. That was the first sign of like, yeah, let me just not watch this. But I couldn't peel away. And then I watched like the first round, and then I was like, yeah, no, I'm not watching this. This is. I don't want to remember Mike like that. I want to play Mike Tyson's Punch Out and go back into,
I don't even think he walked out the tunnel. He stumbled. It was like when he was coming down the thing. Mike never looked old, ever. The last 3 years, he never looked old until he walked out that tunnel. And I was like, oh my God, he just got old. Like he got old today. Oh no, he's old. If they'd have fought a day earlier, he'd have been fine. But on that day, Mike was old, man. I was like, I love you, Mike, but shout out to Paul for not KOing him, man.
Yeah.
But I feel like at some point he was like, I can't knock out Mike, man.
I can't do him like that, man.
I can't knock out.
Get your money, Mike. Get your money.
Oh, but I tell you this, though, for Jake Paul, what I love now, I love everything. I love two things that they both represented on a real level. Mike represents someone older saying, let me push the limits of what my body can do. And I loved seeing that in the documentary they did. That a part of this for Mike was, let me just see what I can do. I probably can't do it, but let me see. And to me, we're all going to face limits at some point, and I'm going to try to push mine. So I think it's dope that he's pushing his. And then for Jake Paul, he represents similarly the anti-establishment guy, right? Who now he has flipped boxing on his head because the entire country was watching a boxing match. And we ain't done that since Floyd Mayweather. So now the boxers want in. And it's like, now you got to respect him. So I think in some way he could end up being good for boxing in the long run if he can keep that ability to be a marketer. I don't think there's a career for him in boxing. No. I think the first fight he takes that's really good, he loses, then the allure's gone. That's boxing, right? So whatever that fight is, he needs to go big because it has to be the winner. It has to be the one that puts him on the map. Like, he needs to be like, I want to fight Terrence Crawford, right? Yeah. Like, I know that's a death sentence. I'm not arguing
but
that. I'm saying, but it doesn't make sense for him to fight some young upstart boxer and lose, and then he never gets to the bag. So he's got to go big. I'm gonna fight Canelo. I'm gonna just go really, really big. Hope he can survive. If he can survive, then he can make up. He can make up the fact that I need more tune-ups to get there. But if he just gets knocked out, which I'm pretty sure he will, then I just kind of go, it's over. So he's got to build his company somehow. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's got a good start though, and I know that partnerships are coming with Netflix and Amazon, and you know what I mean. And
numbers are numbers, man. Numbers are numbers.
Yeah. Anyways, let's jump into some basketball. Real quickly, before we go NFL, it is week 11, but in the NBA, it's like around the 15th game or so. Yeah. And I don't want to talk too much hoops today, but there are two teams that I would like to ask you about simply because of where we are. The Milwaukee Bucks and the Philadelphia 76ers. I think Milwaukee's got 4 wins. Philadelphia has 2 wins, sitting at second to last place. Who are you more concerned with at this point? Or should we be concerned for either or both of these teams at all?
Great question, man. I think the East this year is pretty bad overall. So both of these teams will have an opportunity, if they can get right, to crawl back into this thing. But with that being said, I think it's reason to be concerned. And if I were to pick a team, surprisingly, I'd probably pick the Bucks. And here's why. The Bucks, to me, have the 2 better players in Greek and Dame Lillard, right? Embiid is all world when he's available, when he's healthy. But Greek is a champion, right? And Maxey and Paul George are great, but Dame Lillard is Dame Lillard. But I actually like Philly's depth a lot more. I think they just have a better roster, and they just haven't been available. Paul George has been out. Joel Embiid has been out. Maxey's currently out. So I think that's their problem mostly, is that they've just been more in the tub than they've been on the court. And if, big if, they can get healthy, I think that'll solve a lot of their issues. The problem with the Bucks is there's not much you can do with that roster. There's no time frame of when they're going to get Middleton back. He is uber important to this team because they're already thin. No telling when he's getting back, and they just don't have enough, man. The NBA no longer can be run by 2 stars. If you look at the teams who are actually really good, they have the star power plus depth. If you just have star power without depth, you're going to run into a Houston Rockets team and have problems. You're going to run into to Wemby and have problems, right? And I just don't know where they're going to get help from. They added Gary Trent. He hasn't been what they were hoping. Brooke Lopez isn't getting any younger. Their younger guys haven't really matured into the players that they were hoping. And so I just don't know where they pull from. They can't make a trade unless they blow this whole thing up, which by day is looking like it's more of an option than they would probably have liked to think back in August.
Yeah, I probably tend to agree with you, but for the sake of playing Angels advocate, I'm
Yes.
gonna Philly, right? I'm gonna call Philly the problem. And here's my thing with Philly. My biggest question mark is you know how I am at this point, Green. You know I have my things, and there's just something about when it feels like it's never gonna get right. And
Yeah.
Philly has this feel. It's starting to have oh, y'all are just not gonna get right. It's just I'm all for the NBA, and you miss some games and you come back and you get a guy healthy. I can do all that. Oh, we're gonna be healthy by game 25 or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's starting to feel when it's like Embiid's not gonna play. This isn't just back-to-backs. This is like he's not playing. Well, why is he not playing?
Right.
And then we all know Paul George it's weird with him and his injury history. And then the only thing that gives me, the two things that give me a little more of a pause for them are their roster, as you said, they're deep. And so that gives you a level of faith. Then they play in the East. And lastly, Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah.
To have the guy that you need to be able to count on be him, oh, you're in good hands. You're in good hands, right? Because his skill set, his ability is that even his thing even gets in the way of like what I don't like about Paul George. He wants to slow the ball up. Maxey's gonna give me the rock. Let's go, man. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
We're moving, man. And you're gonna either catch up with the rest of us, or I'm giving the ball to Kelly Oubre, man. And you know what I mean? Like we are not gonna sit here and play this game where Paul George slows it up and no. That's not what we're doing, man.
Yeah.
So I like that about them. Maxey is the thing that gives me the most confidence. And then to your point, I think Middleton. Now again, Middleton is about as frail as it gets in the NBA.
Yeah.
But I think if he does get back, he actually is their glue. They were a different team with him. Like he's like the middle piece for Dame and Giannis, and he's that last piece, a little bit of length that helps defensively. All these things that you kind of go, if they get enough games with him, I mean, because that's still Dame and Giannis. You know what I'm saying? Like those are killers, man. And if they just get a little bit of run with their whole collection of guys, I think they sneak into the playoffs. Oh, their other thing is Doc Rivers. Oh my God, he's a bad coach, bro. I don't care what anybody says. He's a bad coach, man. I've seen Doc with the Clippers. It was like, yo, you ever watch a game and you're like, why are you doing that?
Right.
Or how come you don't just put so and so? Or it just Doc. I know he got a ring, but that was a super team.
But a ring.
It is. You're right. You're right. He got a ring. I can't take nothing from him. Okay. Let's move over to some football, man. NFL Week 11. People, you guys know what time it is. Time for some quick hits. We're going to give feedback, go through a gambit of things that happened in the NFL. Both of us will take about a minute each, 30 seconds. Throw out your ideas and thoughts. So the first thing we have, the Bengals, right?
Yeah.
Take another loss. I think they are now 4-7. Are you counting them out? Why? Why not? Talk to me.
I reluctantly say yes. And the reason why I say yes is because the team that they have to catch is a team that just beat them head to head in the Chargers, or will be the Broncos, who also just won. So it just makes the window smaller and smaller, right? They have a bye coming up. You hope to think that they'll get a little healthier and then just try to run the gauntlet. But not only do they have to run the gauntlet, they need these teams to start losing, man. And the Chargers are looking great. I think we're going to bring them up in a little bit. I don't just see them falling off a cliff. And the Broncos are cooking, man. That defense is real, man. And that offense is figuring out ways to put the ball in the end zone. So when you couple that together, it's hard for me to say like, nothing to worry about. I think they may have dig themselves a little too deep of a hole, man.
Man, don't say that. My answer was gonna be no. They're gonna make it, and you talked me right into like. I think he's right. I can't argue with it. Like, cause the two teams in my head, my whole case, I'm like, they're only 2 games out, right? And you got a ways to go, but I'm like, yeah, those teams are not bad, bro. They are
No.
playing well. Yeah, I'm like, and they're coached well, and they're built right, and they're stout. And at the end of the day, those are teams that don't go out without a fight.
Yes.
It's tough to bet against Joe Burrow, man.
It's so hard, you know I mean? It's so hard, man.
That guy's something else, man. He's something else. But I think you're right. I think they end up missing it this year. Because sometimes at this point, here's the truth. At this point, you are who you are, man.
Yeah.
If you keep losing games because of things, it's like, well, that's a part of who you are now, right?
Yeah.
Like, there are teams who we have a respect for, and it's like, yeah, that was last year's team, Draze. But this year's Bengals,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's not the same as last year's Bengals.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so, yeah, that's tough. All right, Chargers looking good. We kind of just said it. Just tell me about how impressed are you with the job that Harbaugh has done, and what are you most impressed with when you look at the Chargers?
I'm uber impressed, man. I mean, we talked about this earlier in the year, how he's literally done this at every step, where he's taken a team and immediately just turn their fortunes into gold. It's pretty much the same roster minus like stud wide receivers, right? And they're playing so well. They would lose these close games, and they're finding a way to win. McConkey has been such a good pickup, the rookie wide receiver. They're run J.K. Dobbins, big up to him. He's been through so much. I'm happy for him. And the defense is playing really good, man. And so they're just not going to beat themselves. They're big and sturdy in the trenches. Extremely impressed with Harbaugh. Extremely.
I am. I don't know what to say. I don't know how he does it.
Yeah.
I did not have him doing that this year.
Right.
Next year, I had it next year. I was like, oh, yeah, he's going to turn them around, but they're just going to be trash this year. That's how I thought of it. Now I'm like, no, they went from doubting to kind of believing. They are full faith right now. They believe we're going to beat you, and they actually are having an identity and forcing teams into a style of play that teams are uncomfortable with. Yeah. I think if that's one thing that Harbaugh always does, he believes in a style of play, building from the trenches, running the ball. He plays a style that a lot of teams just can't play. And his defense is going to be real, right? Yeah. So and that defense is shout out to Dobbins, my running back in fantasy. Shout out to the Chargers defense, my defense in fantasy. Yeah. We're winning. We're cooking. I'm a horrible guy, right?
Respect.
Let's go. Okay, next question. The Lions, the Detroit Lions, put up 59. Now listen, okay? I get it. It's the Jacksonville Jaguars who are in the tank, if not tanking. So you don't got to be tanking, but you're in the tank.
You're in the tank.
So I get it. They're probably not playing their best. Trevor Lawrence didn't play. Mac Jones played. Yada, yada.
Yada, yada.
Nobody else put up 58 on them.
Come on, man.
And the Detroit Lions just did that. What say you? Sound off, sir.
They're a team that is just clicking on all cylinders, man. They're really just playing high quality football. And they're like, yo, we're trying to win a Super Bowl. And so we want the number 1 seed. We want to keep Jared Goff in a dome throughout the playoffs to give him his best opportunity to succeed. They understand the assignment, man. And every week they know that this is a new obstacle that we got to crush to keep our goal alive. And they're just really good at football right now.
Is it possible they're peaking too early?
Very possible. It's very possible. You worry about that when you're a fan and you're used to losing, right? Because if it was the Chiefs or it was the Bills or you'd be like, oh, this is where we want to be. But when you've never done it, you're like, should I get too excited? Are we peaking too early? You know? But all they can ask for is to just keep health on their side. They lost Hutchinson already. If they can remain healthy, man, I think this is going to be a tough out for teams come January.
I think they are definitely going to be a tough out. They're built right. Their coach he's got them locked and loaded. I got a bunch of friends who are Detroit Lions fans. I talk trash to them, and I tell them Dan is going to Dan at some point. Right? I'm driving the nail in. I'm like, okay. I keep telling you guys, no, Dan is coming. Where Dan's gonna go, we're going for it. We're going for it. We're going for it, right? And everybody, and it's funny now because there's a certain level of them where their fans actually have this no, don't do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I just love messing with them. But between you and I, man, they look really, really good. I'm impressed. I'm shocked too. I don't know why they're this good right now. I don't. I look at them and I go, they shouldn't be this good.
Yeah.
But they are.
They are.
And all that matters is what you are, and they are what they are. And when I say that, I'm speaking of the characteristics of the team, not just the outcomes and the stats. I'm going, they have a character. And the character of who they are, that's what you want to be, man. That's what you want to be. There are a lot of teams that you go, oddly enough, we'll talk San Francisco later, but San Francisco 49ers this year give me who you are is at this point. It's been 10 games in, and this is kind of who you guys are.
Yeah.
And it's feeling real Super Bowl hangover-ish, right?
It is.
Real.
That's a good point.
That's who you guys are this year, huh? And now they're trying to muster it up, and it's not working. And you heard Fred Warner after the game kind of this is infuriating because we're trying to turn it on, and we go to hit the lever, man, and there's no gear anymore, right? And it's you don't get to bring that gear from last year into this year, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
One thing I'll say about the Lions that I think is unfortunate for them.
Okay.
Like I've told you, I think that 3 teams from the NFC North are getting in. So chances are in the playoffs, they're going to see someone who is extremely familiar with them. And I say this to say, it's always tough playing somebody from your division in the playoffs. It doesn't matter how much better you are than them because they know you well, they're comfortable with you, and the 2 teams that they could play are already damn good in the Vikings and the Packers. And so I could see a scenario where they got to play Green Bay. They'll be in Detroit. Or play Minnesota, they'll be in Detroit, but those teams will feel like they're playing with house money. They'll be comfortable and familiar. And if I'm Lions, I want to play other divisions, right? I'd rather play a team who haven't played us yet, who really don't know our physicality. And that would be interesting to see once these seedings start forming here in the next few weeks.
Hey, man, it's the playoffs, so it's just going to be tough. That's how I see it. I look and I'd be like, it's that's why it's the playoffs, man. But I don't want to play Eagles. Okay, well, then who you want to play, right? You got to play somebody good. So, Pittsburgh Steelers, huge win against the Baltimore Ravens this week.
Yeah.
Are the Pittsburgh Steelers, to you, considered an actual championship contender?
Absolutely. It starts with Mike Tomlin, right? This guy just since he's been in the league has done nothing but win football games. Secondly, it's the defense. That defense is phenomenal, right? It's just they just Steeler football. You look at the offensive side of the ball; they've been able to run the ball. Najee Harris is having his best season ever. Jalen Warren's finally getting healthy. The offensive line is solid. They get pushed. George Pickens is a young star. Russell typically protects the ball outside of that dumb pick he threw in the red zone. I don't know what he was thinking.
Hey, you know what? It happens, man. It happens.
It does.
Everybody does something stupid at some point. When a player overall is just playing well, I just don't hang people for mistakes because I'm like, everybody's going to make them. It's the bad time. It was a bad mistake. But what he did is he buckled down, he came back, and he kept playing. But I'll let you finish.
Yeah. And so when you have all those pieces, you have a shot, man. If you could play great defense, if you have a winning coach who knows what the hell he's doing, and you can run the football, and you have a quarterback who's experienced, who can make plays, those are the ingredients, man, to make a delicious meal. And so the Steelers are damn sure true contenders to hoist.
The Steelers are my kind of team, as in old school. Mike Tomlin's my type of coach. I love his old school mentality. I love the fact that you know that it grinds my gears, all these coaches out here that just go for it. We're go for it happy. Like tonight, the Texans were playing the Cowboys. Mind you, they won, so it didn't come back to bite them. But the Texans go up 7-0 against the Cowboys today. Texans get the ball back. They drive all the way down there to like the 20-yard line. It's 4th and 2. Just take your 3.
Yeah.
You'll be up 10-0. No, they go for it. They don't get it. The Cowboys. And it was unnecessary. It was just kind of like, what happened to people just wanting to take the 3? I said all that to say Mike Tomlin does not have that problem.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Tomlin will take his 3 because he recognizes it's the first quarter, but things might be very different come 3rd or 4th. And I'm going to I had taken that 3 points when I get down the road. I also happen to have their kicker in fantasy football.
Ooh.
And he, the number 1 kicker in fantasy, he gave me 24 points this week. Shout out to Boswell. I want to appreciate it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But I said all that to say I just love that Mike understands games are grinded out, and when he respects points to the degree that, wait, you mean I have a chance to get up some points right now? Yeah. I'm taking it.
Yeah.
I'm taking it. It's not that he never goes for it. He does. There are times where, because I think there are times you should. I just think we live in a world now of coaches who think, well, I'm aggressive and I'm not. And it's like, yeah, well, I mean, yeah, you could show confidence in your defense too. Or, you know what I mean? You could put up the 3 and trust your defense to hold them. Or, you know, this whole confidence thing, I believe in my team. Yeah, I mean, whatever, you know. But I'm seeing so many teams not get it these days that I'm like, hey, you might want to think about it. I don't know. Take the points, man. It started 0-0.
Mm-hmm.
I got a chance to go up 3-0. I'll take that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, why are we pulling 3 points? Because most of the games come down to a close score anyway. So when you get later, you know. But then, because I got to say, I'm right, but then I'm wrong. Because the Buffalo Bills, 4th and 2, they were in field goal range, up by 2.
Yeah.
Could have took the 3 and been up 5, but they said we cannot give Patrick Mahomes back the ball.
Yeah.
And so we're going for it. And that, my friend, I understand.
Yes.
When it's Patrick Mahomes who has done to you, do you know what Patrick Mahomes did to them in 13 seconds?
Yes, I remember.
13. That is one of the most amazing things.
Yeah.
13 seconds.
Yeah.
They can write a movie called 13 Seconds. That's how good it is.
That's how great it is.
Yeah, that's how great it is. I'm like, oh, it's 13 seconds. Game's over.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Number 15.
If I can't give you 13 seconds, I can't give you any.
I can't give you the ball. That's as simple as I can break it down. Keep it away from me.
I'll forever tell people, the man scored with 13 seconds. Jesus.
Right.
You know what I mean? Last but not least, Bo Nix, right? Quick hits. Yeah. I had a way I was going to ask this, but I want to ask it in a different way. Is Bo Nix better than Caleb Williams? Talk to me, Randy Green. Yes or no?
I would say hell no.
Okay.
Not at all. Not at all. I think
Okay.
I think that the issues of Caleb Williams are being overblown. I really do. And I think that the success of Bo Nix is deserved. I do. But we're currently living in a state in the NFL where you see where support systems with quarterback is everything. There's numerous quarterbacks who were thrown away because they were in awful situations and they get into better situations and everybody was like, yo, where was that at? Right. And they don't have the talent of Caleb Williams. I think Caleb Williams is suffering from a coaching staff that is inept. They failed Justin Fields. They're failing him. The offensive coordinator that me and Kevin refuse to name. We saw it firsthand how awful he was. They asked the receivers from the Seahawks about this offensive coordinator. They didn't give glowing responses. They asked DJ Moore about the offensive coordinator. He didn't give a glowing response. I'm reserving throwing this quarterback out to pasture until I see him around people who know what the heck they're doing. But I will say, Bo Nix has been better than I thought he would be in year one. I didn't think Denver would be good at all. And these guys might make the playoffs with a roster that is suffering because they're paying Russell Wilson all this money. So Sean Payton has a lot to do with that. But Bo Nix has to go out there and call these plays. But no, Bo Nix is not. If I could take one or the other right now, I couldn't say K fast enough.
I have no rebuttal for you. I totally agree. I just want to see if you might take the bait, man. You know what I mean? Everybody's a prisoner of the moment, man. And people are feeling good. But I love everything you said. Bo Nix is outperforming what I thought he would do at this point. I think he's really a good quarterback and a gamer. But I feel like he has a ceiling. I still feel that way. But we'll see, right? Like at the end of the day, we'll see. He might outperform that. There's a lot. If he's grown this much, who's to say he can't grow more? Sean Payton knows what he's doing. He's got it, and he is set up to win, though. Let me be clear. If Caleb was in Denver, he'd be set up to win, right? Yeah. What they'd be asking of him would be completely different. He'd have a great defense, like all of those things, the tutelage. You said it best when you talked about the training that he gets and the support system that he has. And for quarterbacks across the board, it's just vital. And I think you're going to start to see teams really focus on that. Like, I think you're going to see teams go, hey, how are we supporting our quarterback to take him from A to Z? Because it's so, think how, what's old boy's name? The quarterback for the Colts, Anthony Richardson. They were just ready to throw him away a couple weeks ago.
Throw him away.
Just and I was sitting there going, give him to us. Let him go. Let him go. I'm over there going, bring him to Seattle. Right? Yeah.
Come on,
and then he comes out and he balls out this week. And it's kind of like, we might have something. You think? It's just right. I don't get it, man. Like, get a good coaching staff, get some people in place. And let's get these guys set up to win. Next topic. Moving on. Josh Allen comes out 4th and 2, runs the ball for a 27-yard scamper to win the game, beating the 9-0 Chiefs. Yeah. What a big game. Thrusting himself to the front of the MVP race. How big was this game for Josh? And does it switch anything for you? Like, do you think he can take down Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs?
Well, the first question, I think it was a huge win because now you hope that other people on the Chiefs schedule handle business and somebody else knocks them off, and then maybe you get home field throughout. You'd rather everything go through Buffalo, right? So for that alone, it was a huge win. Second reason why I think it was a huge win is it's big to exercise the demons, like to be like, no, I could beat this team and this guy. Like when people, I remember being a Peyton Manning fan, and when we would beat the Patriots, it mattered. Like we could beat Belichick, we could beat Brady, we could beat the Patriots. To see that, you know what I'm saying, is important. So for those reasons, I think it was huge. The second part of your question, to me, it means absolutely nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Because when it comes down to the playoff, this guy had no business going back to the Super Bowl last year. He had an awful ending to the season. They had to go on the road throughout. And what did he do? He goes to Baltimore and he beats Lamar. He goes to Buffalo and he beats Josh Allen. Josh Allen has yet to beat him in the playoffs, right? Lamar has yet to beat him in the playoffs. Brady and Burrow are the only two who have beat. And I don't think Burrow's playing, and we know Brady ain't playing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So until Allen can do it when it matters, I won't think that it's a huge issue. I'm sure Patrick Mahomes doesn't think it's a huge issue. We'll see you again, brother.
So then is he the MVP right now?
You know what's crazy?
Yeah.
I'm not mad at that, but my MVP is Jared Goff.
Really?
Yeah. He has 4 games where he has crazy video game numbers, right? Obviously, the game against the Seahawks. He has a game this season against the Tennessee Titans where he went crazy. This last game, he had 4 touchdowns and 400 yards. They have the best record in the NFC. I would put him as my MVP, but he's not the sexy pick, right? And so the sexy pick is Lamar, who would be deserving, and Josh Allen, who would be deserving. But if the Lions finish the season right now, like the way they're playing right now, if you look at the numbers this guy has put up, it's pretty impressive.
I'm not mad at him. I mean, he did just have a 5 interception game though. That's tough. Okay,
That's tough.
That's tough.
Yeah,
Josh, I think Josh Allen's in the lead for me right now,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't take anything from the guy, man. Wins matter, man.
Yeah.
And KC's undefeated. They don't just win the game; they win because of him. And when I look at his team, he's got nothing. This was the year Josh Allen's in the same position that Patrick Mahomes was in last year, right? Kind of a depleted roster offensively. Not supposed to be that good offensively. And he's just finding – dude, they only have 2 losses this year, right? I'm sorry. I when they win every week, I'm like, how? What did they do?
Yeah.
I mean, Amari Cooper just got there. I'm saying, how, man? You're not going to tell me this rookie receiver they got is carrying them. No, he's not a world beater or anything, right? Like, I'm sorry. Josh Allen he's out of sight, man. He's out of this world. He's like, the style of play is him. It's the orbit of Josh Allen. That's what it is. So it's not like any one person. Dalton Kincaid's not going to come out with 102 touchdowns every game. Like, it's just, he might have 6 catches for 78 yards, and you're going, well, who killed?
Yeah.
No one. I mean, Cook's playing really well. I'll say that. He's been a huge bright spot. But I'm saying, who's really playing well? No one. How are they winning? Josh. He is manufacturing wins. I saw a breakdown that this was the first game all season that a team held the ball longer than the Kansas City Chiefs, right? And it was, I think they held the ball 10 minutes longer than the Chiefs, right? That's a lot of time. And Josh Allen out-chiefed the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes is known for holding the ball on 4 5-minute long drives. Boom. No, he did it back to them. You know what I'm saying? Sit your butt on the sideline and watch me drive. And by the time you come out here, you're like, man, it's already 4 minutes in the left in the quarter. Yeah, you're not going to touch the ball that much today, buddy. You know what I mean? So it's impressive. And for that reason, he's leading in the MVP. But I will say a lot to go. Jared Goff is absolutely in it. Lamar's absolutely in it. And Patrick Mahomes is still in it for me. A lot of time to go. I think we got, 7 more games? Plenty of time. Plenty of time. A lot of stuff still got to shake out, All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is the moment that we have all been waiting for. It is time for some Hawk Talk. Your Seahawks, the 12s, the Seattle Seahawks, blue and green, went out and got a huge win on the road down to San Francisco, which I said they would. Went down there. They are now 5-5, 500 ball. Huge win for the Seahawks. Big up to all the 12s. We got to congratulate the team. You know what I mean? Big up to the Seahawks fans. And we got to talk about the good and the bad. You tell me where you want to start. Let's start with the bad, right? Because it's a big win. We know it feels good. I'll start you just with how'd you feel about the win? Then we'll get into the goods and bad. How'd you feel about the game?
I was very impressed, right? Similar to Josh Allen exercising the demons of beating the Chiefs. The Seahawks have fared way worse versus the Niners than the Bills have versus the Chiefs. So for them to go on the road and get a win, I think was extremely impressive, especially in the manner that they did it. They really stood in the gap more so than I've ever seen them versus a Niners team. And when I say that, it was like they didn't get ran through and ran over by a Niners team, right? They didn't just get beasted. And I think that matters. Like when you see teams in the division stand up to the Niners in years past, it's because they're like, yo, you're not about to punk me, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And after a while, it's kind of like they lose a little bit of their little, you know what I mean? Like you saw it in the NFC Championship game when the Lions was like, yeah, bro, you punch me in my chin, I'll punch you in your nose. What's up? Yeah. And Seahawks was doing that with Christian McCaffrey out there. Guys was making plays. Your boy Spoon, I hadn't seen him in a while. He made critical play. Like when guys who are supposed to make plays, it matters. That's why you get paid what you get paid, you know? And so it was very refreshing to see. I gave a standing ovation after that win in the manner that they won. It was like, yo, there's something there. So it was a hell of a win.
Yeah. I in the words of the great philosopher, Devon Witherspoon.
Yeah.
That shit was overdue, but it was due.
Yeah.
But it was due.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so when he said that, I was like, you're right, it was due. Like he was like, yo, they owe us some money. You know what I mean? And we need to collect, right?
Yes.
And so just a great game, man. All around team win. I was excited for all of the reasons you just said. I'll get into the Seahawks in a little bit. I want to talk about the other side first and start with the 49ers. My thoughts on them. Well, a couple things on it. First off, I was really, really, with the 49ers, I was impressed with Jennings today, that game. I know that's a guy that you've talked about. And so I wanted to pull him out and be like, yo, he showed me something that game. He showed me something that he was like, he was fighting. Like he's not enough to do it on his own, right? But he fought. He was fighting. He was like, yeah, no, like I'm gonna get up. When he got that first down through 4 guys, I was like, oh man, this dude, he was killing us. He was the only guy killing us, but he was killing
the only
us.
one.
The only guy out there getting work. But I was like, okay. And then the other part is just like I said, something's wrong with them. They're broken. They're not the same. This ain't the same Niners from last year and the year before. And I know it happens with all of us. It happens. I remember when it happened with the Seahawks, and we thought we would just click and do it again. All of a sudden, Sherm was out there and Earl was out there, but we just weren't winning. It wasn't. We just weren't. Everybody's here. Ain't that the Legion? Yeah, it's the Legion. Then why didn't we win? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, something's gone, man. The mystique, and I can't quite tell you what it is. They look punch drunk or something, but they don't look right, you know. And I'm okay with it. Let's kick them while they're down. We don't owe them nothing. You know what I mean? So, anyways, now to the goods and the bads. What did you like? What didn't you like? You want to start with bad or good?
We can start with bad. There was some bad turnovers. Gino's there was the interception that I just didn't understand what he was seeing out there. Maybe you heard him on a press conference talking about the play he saw. That was just like, what are you doing? Right? Like, at that point I was like, same shit. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was about to just go left. Another hike over the head of obviously we lose, you know what I'm saying? The center retires out of nowhere, and so all bad. And so like mishaps like that is things that really can just sink you when you're playing against a foe of the level of the Niners, right? Which is why the win was that impressive, because they overcame all that, and Gino did Gino things. And so
when I look at our bads, I like the stuff you said. I'm not too worried about the hiking thing because this was a different center. So this was Olu. This was his first game. As the we'll see, right? Let's see. He's a second-year player. Drafted him last year. He's in his second year. He looked good though. He played a really good game. So that I'm more impressed with. We'll see. But if he gets one more, then we got a problem, right? These can't keep happening, right?
Yeah.
But if he had one, it can't keep happening. In addition to that, a bad thing that I saw, really frustrated, but I'll tell you this. I listened to Mike McDonald's press conferences. You know, I listen to all of them, right? So I listened to everybody's press conference. Mike, when they asked him about bad things, I loved it. It was fresh after the game, and he came right. He knew exactly what the problems were. Exactly what the problems were. He said, 3rd and longs. We gave up 4 3rd and longs. There was one drive where they were in 3rd and 10 or 11 2 or 3 times on that drive and got it. Yeah. Right? Those are drives, and they ended up scoring a touchdown, right? You got them where you want them. And the one, like I said, the dude catches the ball at like 7 yards, so he needs another 3 yards, and he's just running through our guys. You know what I'm saying? And it's just kind of like, that's gang tackling. That wasn't scheming. That's and I'm not knocking Shanahan, right? I'm just saying that was that one player, Jennings, his grit and his everything, you know what I mean, and his grind. And on our end, gang tackling. What are we doing, right? Which I think is a struggle of ours. We haven't been, I just don't think we've been great gang tacklers this year. So to hear Mike come out and say that was one of his issues off top. The second thing he said, I totally agree with him. He said, we have got to start getting home with 4. Yeah. Like, he was like, I don't understand why we're not getting there. So I got to go back and get our guys right, because basically I don't want to have to send the blitz. It changes up what I'm doing. I'm scheming something, but if I always got to bring Spoon off the end to get pressure, that's not helping me none. Yeah. You know what I mean? So those are like things that you can look at and go, we need to improve. Personally, the last thing I would say was Geno Smith seemed like he was early in the game, he was struggling. But to me, he was struggling because he had like the jitters. He's not used to having time. And it was like he dropped back and he was seeing ghosts and there was no one there. Yeah. And yes, somebody got through the line here and there. That's a normal game. But for the most part in the first half, he had more time than he's had all year. You know what I'm saying? And he played bad in the first half. I felt like it was a make or break game for Geno. And he didn't make himself, but he definitely didn't break himself. He almost did. Like, we lose that game, you would have heard people Monday morning saying, let's give Sam Howell a look. Let's see what else we got. Right? Like, you know, you start going, well, Geno's just not going to be it. My text was in the first half. My text was lighting up with people saying, see, he's just not it. It's just not it. Right? Yeah. And I'm not the guy who's convinced one way or the other. I still am not. I'm still like, I wanted to see what Geno looks like behind a good line before I crown him or dump him,
Yeah.
right? And I still want to see it, right? I mean, it's week one. We got the W. To me, in the second half, he settled in, and then we got a chance to see him play good ball in the second half. So give me your positives. What are you excited about when you see the game? Good things now.
I had three. So the first one would be McDonald. I really was impressed the way he kind of stood up against Shanahan. I can't emphasize enough how important it was to stand in the gap versus this team. And, he kind of had to eat crow and look himself in the mirror and be like, what am I doing wrong? They had the bye week and he came back ready to go and it showed. So I was very, very impressed by him. Secondly, DK being out, in my opinion, helped them understand how good JSN can be. When you add JSN to the passing attack, they're a more formidable offense, in my opinion. I think JSN is ascending. We've had conversations before, and then I had to really be like, yo, maybe, but then you just see him be like, yeah, like that's it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he can produce at a level that I think is desperately needed. And hopefully he can continue to build off of that. And then lastly, number 7, I think number 7 put on his cape. I think he literally won the game for the Seahawks. For him to have had the plays that he had, right? And to come back and not wait. Like that's one thing about Geno that I think I really love about him is like he's good at never minding the noise, never minding a bad play. He can be very emotional on the field, but he really believes in himself, man. You know what I'm saying? And for him to rally and talk about how important this this Niner game was, and to perform in the manner he did, and to score that touchdown in the manner he scored it, you could tell he never wavered. And that was very, yeah. And he gave the Chef Curry, put him to bed in that hostile environment. Because I'm sure the Niners fan thinks he's a joke. Well, joke on that, right? You know what I'm saying? And so I just felt like he just played a really good game to close. And you got to have that. Like, that was one thing that Russell was able to do. Russell would stink, and then he would just do things to make you be like, but that's my guy. And we're high-fiving at the end of the game, and you're like, we're glad we have number 3. Well, damn it, 206. You should be happy you had number 7 on Sunday, because he really put on the cape, so kudos to him.
Man, what a game. Okay. What a game. I'll start with, as you said, Mike McDonald. I loved his bye week. What a bye week. It sounded like he was locked in all bye week.
Yeah.
And then when you're cutting and waving guys, the number 1 tackler on the team, and everyone's scratching their head, and no, you didn't put him to second. It was as if Mike went home, looked at all the film, and said, what do I got to do? And he went into mad scientist mode. And he said, I know what I got to do. And he grabbed his kahunas. He called up John Snyder, and he said, we got to let him go.
Yeah.
Ooh, Dodson. Got to let him go. You know what I'm saying? What am I going to do? We're going with Knight. Knight, the kid, we're going with Knight. And the week before the bye week, when we played the Rams, I said this, I said, we looked different. I said, I don't know if it's real or not, because it was one game. This kid, Irvin, the new linebacker that we got, I was like, okay, he balled. His first game, he was okay. Against the Rams, he was balling. And I was like, hey, man, he was balling. The Rams put up 13 points in regulation on us. That doesn't happen, right? I said it. I was like, McVay looked like he was struggling with McDonald. That's how it looked. He figured it out, but he struggled for a long go, right?
That's all you could ask. Yeah.
That's all you could ask. Yeah. And then I looked up and I'm like, uh-oh, Shanahan, you see the numbers? This was Brock Purdy's worst game as a 49er.
Yeah.
They said they haven't had a quarterback play this bad since who was the guy years ago, right? Bum dude when they first got there, right?
Yeah.
It's the point is the defense looked phenomenal. We stopped the run. Christian McCaffrey was basically not there. When can anyone say that about CMC?
Yeah.
I don't want to hear nothing. This is what they've been waiting on. Do you remember? You know that they had over 200 yards rushing against us the first game?
Yeah.
That was the first game.
Yeah.
And then they come back and these guys had 82 yards rushing.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, man. Yeah, it was way different. Great game for Leonard Williams and Byron Murphy. Oh, my God. Stout in the middle. The run game wasn't going anywhere, and it was because of them.
Yeah.
They were like, there's nothing in here. So you better start stretch running to the outside.
Yeah.
And Ernest Jones was running out there. And you ain't coming out here either. So go back inside to them big boys. And to hear Ernest Jones talk about it in his press conference, he said, when I look at this defense, he said, I look in front of me and I see those tackles. I see Witherspoon and I see Woolen. He said, he said, we can be special. Yeah. I believe him. He's that type of guy. Like, if you ever hear him talk, you're going to be like, oh, we got one. He's an inside linebacker who can be a leader. Like, you know how we talk leadership?
Yeah.
By next year, remember I said it. It's just he's new now, so it's hard for someone to be your leader when they just got there and guys don't know him and they ain't gone through camp. By next year you'll be hearing he's the captain, and then he's already making the calls on defense. But that guy's a leader. When you hear him talk, you're gonna go, oh, you got a dog. Yeah, we got a real one. Yeah, we got a real one. Offensively, I loved everything. I cannot say how happy I was. Now, when I'm right, I like to be right.
Yeah.
Right? And I can't say I'm right yet, but I'm kind of right.
Uh-huh.
A couple of weeks ago, I told you what I'd be most excited about, and I said that offensive line because I want to see what it looks like.
Yeah.
We beat the 49ers, and listen to me, man. There was a point in the game where I was going, Geno is so used to not having time that by the second half when he settled in, it was kind of like, oh, now you can really cook.
Yeah.
Oh, now you can really cook, right? Like you can really look left and look right and go through your progressions. And we looked good, man. I haven't seen our O-line look that decent. It was nice to have two ends and to know nobody's coming on the outside. Abe Lucas played a very good game. I know it was hard because he was on a pitch count, so he couldn't play. They only let him play so much, but they say he played about 66% of the snaps. You know what I mean? So that pitch count. But he looked really good while he was out there, right? I sent you a couple videos where you could see it, and it was like, I mean, yes, it helped that Bosa got hurt too. But hey, that's football, man. That's
gonna happen.
Hey, we all don't have people out there. So those are the things. And then lastly, to your point, the wide receivers, man, I love seeing JSN. Remember when you said it to me, like, maybe JSN's not. I said, no, I haven't lost it. I believe he's what we both think he is. What we're looking at is what he is. This is what he is. And he's still better than what we're seeing. Like, he's still in the early phases of getting great, right? He hasn't reached his great. He hasn't peaked. So I'm saying he's going to still be getting better for the next year or two, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's really good. It's what it's supposed to be. DK and him, right? JSN had 10 catches. DK had 7. We're good, right?
Yeah.
Keep splitting them up. It should be 10 one day for somebody, 8 another. It just, let's go. This is how you throw teams off. This is how you get teams. And I like it. I agree with you that the time off with DK not there allowed him and Gino to click in a way. I can't tell you what it was, and I'm not going to make an assumption. I don't know whether it was Grubbs. I don't know whether it was Gino. I don't know if it was JSN. I don't know. But what I know is we had some time where they had each other, and they're all they had. And because of that, they built up a rapport. And I love the rapport because Gino's got to have that connection and that trust, right? That's a big deal for any quarterback. Sometimes you see him make passes to Lockett where you're like, dude's not even open, right? Yeah. But it's a trust, right? Yeah. It's like, yeah, but that's my man Lockett. I know he'll make the grab. Mm-hmm. And Lockett's getting a little long in the tooth, man. You can feel it. You can feel it out there. You're just like, yeah, Lockett's not quite. He's not quite making all the grabs, but he'll make some big plays this year.
Yeah, he will.
Lockett, so he'll make his fair share. But JSN has come along at the right time. Him and DK could be a problem for teams, right? With a Kenneth Walker. The other things, bad things, short yardage running, we really stink at that. And then we got to figure out how to get Kenneth Walker going, man. It's just, it hasn't happened. It's not happening frequent enough. We don't know. We can't just run the ball. And I think that might be early in the year, you saw a lot of people being angry at Grubbs for not running the ball a lot. And I actually wasn't angry at him. I was like, we're a team where the pass is going to open the run. It's not going to be the opposite. There are what the new lineman is not going to change. It's not going to change that we can't block the run yet. We're just not a good running team because we don't block it well. So we might get better at pass blocking, but we're just not. We're never going to be great at running because of the line. It's no knock on Kenneth Walker. It's just, now Charbonnet, hey man, he can head out, man, when this year's over, man. I'm just saying, man, we can go get another guy, man. I don't know what he brings to the table that's good. I'm just like, so wait, what does he do good though? Like, what is he really good at? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Me and Kev are having this discussion. Kev's on his head. Kev said he sent me a text that was like something like he does nothing well and you can't tell me anything different. I just started rolling. He was like, you can't convince me otherwise. I was like, hey, man, I'm not trying to, man. I'm not. I said, the only thing I said he's better at short yardage than Kenneth Walker. I said that he is. But that's it, though. I think he's a better blocker, too. But, I mean, what are we talking about here? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, that's not it. Yeah, I mean, big win, though, man. 5-5. I don't know how if it changes the outlook very much. But next up, we got coming the Arizona Cardinals. Red hot, 6-4, first place in the division. You've got Marvin Harrison, who is coming along. You've got Connor, who is a bowling ball, another guy who kills us. James Conner kills the Seahawks traditionally. And Kyler Murray, who is just a problem child. He's fast, he's quick, he can throw. He's just, you look left and then he's gone right. You know what I mean? He's out the back door, right? And we'll be very interested to see how our defense plays against him. Can we stop him? It's like prepping for him. It's like prepping for Lamar, but it's not. It's very different, right? Because there's a quickness thing that just exists that isn't there. So my question to you, Green, are we going to win this Arizona Cardinal game? Yes or no? Hawks, Cardinals coming up.
I think so. And the reason why I think so is because of the big win that they had versus the Niners. I think they're feeling like we can win this division, right? Now, the Cardinals also beat the Niners, right? But I just feel like the one team that the Seahawks really match up well against in the division, in my opinion, are the Cardinals. I think if you could slow Connor and you can really take away Marvin Harrison with Woolen.
Yeah.
I think that really limits them, right? And so if those D tackles and D ends can make it hard for Kyler to see They don't really have much going. You got Trey McBride, who's a stud, and that could be an issue. But I mean, if Trey McBride's the only one really going, I like the Seahawks' chances, and I think they're playing better. It'll be interesting to see if Kyler's able to just break a game, right? Like if he's just like, we have no answer for this guy, he's just killing us. It could be a long day, but I think that's a lot to ask. The games that they've won, nothing away from their 6-4 record, I still don't know how they've won. I can't put a finger on it, right? And so I just don't know. Is it in Seattle or Arizona first game?
I don't know. I didn't check it out.
Yeah.
Keep going. I'll look it up.
I just believe that it's going to be very tough for Arizona if the Seahawks are able to carry momentum into this Sunday, right? I don't envision them being, a team that doesn't show up. I think they're understanding what's in front of them, as well as the Cardinals. But I just think the Seahawks are just a better roster and a better team than the Cardinals. I really, truly believe that. I don't know if I believe that with the Niners or the Rams, but the Cardinals, I think, have the worst roster in the division. And I don't know how they're winning. And so for that reason, I got them losing.
I got us winning, man. I mean, this is the team we sweep, right?
Okay.
We're sweeping.
It has to be, yeah.
It has to be, right?
Yeah.
But we didn't get swept by the 49ers.
You didn't.
And we're going to beat the Rams.
There it is.
So we got to sweep the Arizona Cardinals. And if we do what I just said, then we're going to the playoffs too.
Going to the playoffs.
Yeah, that is going to the playoffs.
And I don't think that's crazy. I don't think
it's not crazy. No, it's not. It's not. It's early. It's early, but it's not crazy. Crazy. But the Arizona Cardinals are just a tough match. There's something about them where they pull out games, and they're figuring some things out. I feel like in the last 2 games I've seen them win, they've figured out a thing that is theirs, and that's what's scary. Prior to that, it didn't feel like that. It felt like, man, how are you getting this win? Yeah. That was ugly. I don't know what you did. The last 2 felt like, I think they got a style here. Yeah. Like, and Marvin Harrison's starting to kill. You know what I'm saying? He's making his moves. Connor does his thing. They're not loaded, but they're loaded in a way. It's like when you got a one receiver, a good quarterback, a running back, and a tight end, you got enough. The other receiver just has to make a play or two. Yeah. You know what I mean? Do they have as much as us? No. But they got people in the right position. So it's gonna be a fight both games. Mm-hmm. But we're gonna win both. So we gotta protect my call. At this point, I gotta protect my call too. So but no, we're gonna go out, we're gonna beat them. I'm looking forward to a good game. I want to see us take a step forward as a defense. I want to see us be very dominant. I think about your voice when you talk about the NFL, man, and it's just so hard. And all the things that we've had to face. We just got through facing the Rams, right? And they're back with Puka. And then we got to now we got to face the 49ers. And as soon as that's over, I got to face Kyler Murray. You just feel like, when do I just get a normal team? And it's like, there isn't. That doesn't happen. No.
They don't exist.
No, this is the NFL, right? And I'm like, man, when do we just get a quarterback who's going to drop back so we can see what we are? Okay, so I've told you things I'm looking forward to. I got my offensive line back, and the line is where I am. I want to see us just keep taking strides, see if we can open the running game a little bit more, but just keep giving Geno time. If we give Geno time, I believe with DK and JSN, we got weaponry. Yeah. Right? And it is going to be nice to get back Noah Fant. As much as I'm not a huge fan of his, he's better than our other tight ends. Yeah. So I want to get Noah Fant back, right? I don't know if you saw the rookie tight end that we have on the 4th and 1 play, and he just completely misses his block, right? And it's kind of like, bro, you can't miss your block. Like, there's not much. Your hand's in the dirt, man. You look up and he's right there, and it's like, oh no, let me go help him block him. Why, you ding dong, right? And so it just completely killed us. But I wanted to give you one more thing, go into my crystal ball, Draze's crystal ball, what we're looking for that is going to be the last in the Seahawks season. This is going to be the knockout punch, man.
Okay.
When Nwosu gets back. Okay. I know this is kind of no one's looking at it, no one's talking about it. He is our best pass rusher.
Yes.
We are not getting like Mafe and Hall have been held in check. Like for weeks now. This is not they have showed us, I don't know if they can get through the dog days of the NFL yet. They're still young. They don't know how to get through week 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like that's the NFL, right? But when Nwosu gets here, he's a veteran. He knows how to get through the dog days of the NFL. All of a sudden, we're getting home a little bit more, right? And when your DN starts killing, they slide the double team sometime, and then Leonard Williams is getting up the middle, or Byron Murphy's applying pressure. It changes everything. It was so bad that I feel like last week it was Draymond Jones who had the sack, right? Like that was our big sack was Draymond Jones. He's playing better in some ways off the end than the other guys are, right? And so I don't have a problem with Mafe and Hall. Like, let them keep figuring it out. They got to keep learning it. This is the NFL. Let them learn to diversify their moves and, how to play in a full game. But I think Nwosu being out there is going to allow them to run in a rotation a lot more. So they're not going to be on the field all the time. So one or two of them will come on only on third downs, pin your ears back. You're fresh. You're not tired. You're getting after the quarterback. It's going to change everything. So we get him, if this defense continues to gel, and assuming we're able to get him healthy with enough games to go, I think we could start to see this defense be what we all wanted, which was really good. And be like, oh, wow, it's a good defense. I'm not telling you we're going to be the top defense in the league. I'm just saying the pieces are here to be really good defense, right? And we're getting ready to get back our other starting safety, right, who got hurt a few games ago. So, I mean, those are just little incremental things that you get your back. You'll get Nwosu back. I mean, the chances of us getting Nwosu back and no one else getting injured is probably not very likely. But if we're healthy right now, the only guy out is Nwosu, really, in our safety. That's it. So it's like, if we get Nwosu back, man, man. I mean, that's a formidable team, man. At that point, Mike McDonald has all the recipe he needs to cook. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, we'll be here though. I think that's it, man. We did it.
Yeah,
we did it. Another week.
Sure.
Another week. Ladies and gentlemen, we are signing off. This is Two Fans with a Mic. Another great week. We will be here every Monday night talking sports, talking football, talking basketball, and all the things that you love with sports. Peace and love. I'm Draze. This is Green, and we are out. Peace, y'all.